Okay, I'm gonna show you three things to avoid, three mistakes you need to avoid when dealing with your cash buyer on a wholesale deal. First things first, okay? You always want to use your title company. You have to position yourself to be in control of the entire transaction, okay? Now, if a cash buyer comes in and says, hey, I need to use my title company to close the deal, otherwise the deal won't work, well then too bad, I'm sorry, there's another guy that can make the deal happen. And that's what you have to tell him, even if you don't have a guy. You have to tell him that because you need to be involved and in position to make the deal work and have control. A lot of times what happens is if you allow this cash buyer to use their title company, I have done it when I was first starting, right? Maybe third deal or so, because I was a little naive. I felt like I trusted the guy, right? Sometimes you feel that, but it's not always the truth. What can happen is, now you have this contract written up, sent it over to their title company. This is their title company who they built their relationship with. We asked this buyer, hey, submit your non-refundable deposit. Now, if it goes there, we actually never really know, right? This is not our title company. We can always ask them for a receipt, but they can lie about it, and they're not supposed to. It's illegal to do that, but you actually never feel so secure. They may never submit their escrow, or they could be like, oh, my money, I have money tied up there. I have 10 grand there for all these deals. How do we know if that's even true? I mean, it can be. Some people do that, but at the same time, you have to be so aware. You have no control in the deal. In that scenario, now you're wasting time, and you could have locked the deal with another buyer who would have listened to the process or who would have been open to using your title company. So that's number one, okay? Always use your title company. You want to know and have that security that the non-refundable deposit is there. You can call them up and say, hey, is it there? And they'll let you know, and you've already built that relationship. They want to serve you. If you don't have a title company yet, start Googling some. Maybe talk to some other wholesalers out there and ask them who they use. That's a good way. Go to Facebook groups. Figure out who is the title company go to in your market, if they do assignments and double close. But who doesn't have access to Facebook these days? Second thing, all right, second mistake to avoid. The non-refundable deposit is always non-negotiable. It is always going to be a non-refundable deposit contingent upon clear title, right? And never allow the buyer to decide on the number that they need to put down. It's always going to be either $3,000, $5,000, or $10,000, or whatever it is that you choose. The higher the purchase price, the higher your deposit should be. I do nothing less than $3,000. I go as high as $10,000 if it's a really high deal, high purchase price. And if it's between $100,000 and $300,000, or between $100,000 and $250,000, I stick to the $5,000 range. And you do that because it's not something a buyer would walk away from. Now, if the buyer says, hey, I could only submit $500, then that's not your buyer, right? You gotta make sure that you are dealing with someone who is serious and not gonna walk away from the deal. $500, that's pocket change. So you don't wanna deal with someone that that's willing to submit a pocket change and expect them to close. They can easily just walk away from the deal, and now you've lost time and you perhaps lost some money. You might get $500 from it, but you lost the chance to pick up 5 grand, 10 grand, 15, 20 grand on your deal. Something I do is if my purchase price is less than 100 grand, then I tell that buyer that he needs to put down a $3,000 deposit, non-refundable. And if I have anything over 100 grand, refundable deposit is 5 grand. And and that's it. Keep it like that. And they have to, a lot of times they agree. These are your rules, this is your deal. If it doesn't work for them, there's someone else next in line. Number three is very important. You need to always keep looking for your buyer until you have the contract signed and the deposit in, okay? Now, I've done maybe 50 deals, okay? And you always want to have those things in, the contract and the deposit in, before you just quit looking for buyers at that point. Even when you have the contract and you have the deposit in, if you still have buyers that are looking at the deal, take a backup offer. But this is something that you always this is the mistake you want to avoid, right? You think you have a guy, he signs the contract, and then he says he's gonna submit the deposit today or tomorrow, and now you just stop marketing stop marketing the deal, you stop talking to buyers about the deal, and guess what? 2 days later you find out the deposit is still not in. And what does that mean? You don't have a deal. You're not gonna make your money. This guy is probably not serious, wasting your time. And now you just lost about 2 to 3 days of marketing, talking to more buyers, maybe trying to get more buyers inside the house. Your deadline could be coming up. Maybe you can't get the extension that you were hoping for. There's a lot of factors, and you should always be marketing to your buyers. Even if those 2 things are in, you always want to market a few days after, just because you're looking for backup offers just in case. I mean, you just want to be super positive and super confident that the deal's going to close, because there's money on the line. You got a family to feed, right? And you got goals to achieve. So those are my top 3 things, mistakes to avoid. All right, don't be those guys to be a little naive. Do your research. Go on YouTube, watch videos like this, okay? You need to just be well equipped and prepared and have all these tools in your toolbox to get these deals done, okay? All right, guys, until next time, peace.